I'm Sherlock Holmes. Give me.
What the hell is it like that? Is this movie starring Merman?
Is the next one going to be in a submarine?
That's the Iron Man theme, man.
Oh,
come on. Yeah, you call yourselves the funny book boys. You should know that.
No, not based on what you just did.
Yeah, that was. Oh, y'all just
Sherlock Holmes played by
y'all just out of it,
Merman.
man. I don't. Y'all get on my nerves. But I can't deal with y'all sometimes.
You might not want to read the comments on this one.
Oh, I got some comments for everybody.
It's like you Chewbacca.
Skeletor.
I was just thinking. I mean, every time I see what they've done with this Sherlock Holmes, which is what I love. I mean, and I hate using this phrase all the time too, steampunk. But
It's a
that's
popular
what
phrase.
But that's what it is.
But
Yeah,
that's what they
it
did.
is, yeah.
I was just like, shit. They might as well put Sherlock Holmes in an Iron Man outfit and let him blow up a bunch of shit.
Got machine guns, all kinds of crazy gadgets in this.
Craziness.
And Sherlock Holmes knowing fucking kung fu, like
he did.
Bruce Lee's looking from down in the grave, going, "What the fuck?"
He actually did know kung fu in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's books. It was
Yeah, he was a
established
fighter.
that he knew multiple forms of martial arts and knew how to use them and was very good at it.
He was
what they
the
called
the original Batman.
a pugilist.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I like how they certainly do the steampunk, and yet they don't overdo it. Like there's so many places where I go like they could go really overboard, just turn this into the Wild Wild West, and they manage to just hold back from going quite that far.
It's interesting you say that because I almost like want Guy Ritchie to do a remake of
The Wild Wild West?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Just looking at this, I was like, that's what that movie should have been.
True.
You know?
What frightens me watching this was the same thing that frightened me when we were watching the trailer for the original one that I thought ended up paying off, which is that you see all the slow motion action stuff. You're like, oh. But the gimmick they did with it where it was like, no, this is him in his head figuring out how he's going to attack this guy and deal with it, like planning ahead 18 moves the way Sherlock Holmes does. And then us watching it play out in normal motion. But the stuff we're seeing in here in slow motion, I'm like, how could a motherfucker plan that shit?
Okay, granted, it's not the same, but it's like I got that too. I'm like, oh no, not shades of Zack Snyder again. But when they're actually showing like what like you see like a cannonball, that ain't nothing compared to a bullet. But watching the damage that it does to a tree and the splinters and everything, it's like wow. This really gives me a real feeling of like what kind of danger they're in at this point.
Watching that, I'm like, man, that motherfucker ripped me off. Like that effect, because I remember whenever I saw a movie where somebody almost got nude or you could see like a nipple, but it was real quick, I would pause the shit out of it and I'd slowly put that fast forward button to where it's like you see the frame by frame.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, you can tell back in the video store days.
Back in 1982.
Whenever you'd rent something like Mischief and that part where she got naked in the back of the car, the tracking was always screwed up.
Yeah, see, that was your problem. You did it with the aid of a remote control. Sherlock Holmes does that with his mind.
Yes.
Don't worry, I was doing plenty with my mind too.
Yeah, you did the wrong thing, but no, you're right about that. This is directed by Guy Ritchie, and when I saw that Guy Ritchie was directing Sherlock Holmes, now I love Snatch, I love Lock, Stock,
Yeah,
and Two
we know.
Smoking
Oh,
Barrels.
sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That goes without saying. But
Elementary, my dear Cyrus.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, you ain't gotta think in slow motion, be Sherlock Holmes to figure that shit out right there. But I was looking at this and I'm like, that gets to a point where Guy Ritchie, I think he's becoming sort of a gimmick director, and I'm not crazy about the Sherlock Holmes movie that's coming out. And I haven't even seen it yet. I was talking shit before it came out, and then when I saw it, I was like, man, this is like one of the best interpretations of Sherlock Holmes that I've seen. I don't care what anybody says. They're like, well, obviously you haven't read the books. And I was like, well, that's why it's the best interpretation, isn't it?
You know what? Honestly, you could read the books and you go like, you know what? This is accurate.
Yeah,
There's
a lot of
in
Holmes scholars go, look, I understand the criticism instinctually. You're like, wait, that's not what it should, because the BBC, but to be honest, it doesn't really deviate much farther from the original books than any of the other adaptations.
Honestly, like the most inaccurate thing is that he's not tall and skinny. That's about it.
Yeah, and they don't make that much of him being a drug addict.
and I don't care. The motherfucker could put on a black mask and teleport for all I care.
When Robert Downey Jr. played a convincing black man, he could do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking.
Leon and I pretty much stayed out in front of Tropic Thunder when it ended, and we shook white people's hands. It's okay to like his performance. It's all right. Don't worry about about it. You get a black pass. Because a white person had to tell me that was Robert Downey Jr. He's great. And I was
How'd
like,
you feel about that?
I was like,
I thought it was hilarious. Oh God, thank you.
no, that wasn't me. I was like, Robert Downey Jr.'s in this movie. I was about to ask you, who's that black dude, man?
He's funny.
Yeah, shit. He should get some credit. What's his name? But but I was looking at this and thinking like the second one, and I'm still kind of out on that. I'm like, yeah, that's slow motion stuff. I don't know if I'm going to appreciate it as much as I did in the first one, because you're right. In the first one,
it served a purpose.
Yeah, like
in
that
the story.
scene where he was fighting that big dude, and you're like, how is Sherlock Holmes going to defeat this big man? He calculated in his mind. They showed it step by step by doing slow motion. Here, yeah, you're right, man. It's like there's no way he can be running in like I calculate. Yeah, if I get behind this tree at this right time and position myself between my two friends, the bullet will graze my jacket at this angle right here. And it's like, no, that's bullshit.
Once
all right?
again, and you're taking a 10-second clip and reading it out of context.
They gave me that clip. I can take what I want.
You extrapolate a whole movie from 5 seconds.
And if the cameraman is positioned just right, it'll be just as cool as I have it in my head.
Yeah, the way trailers have been lately, that shit may not even be slowed down in the movie, man.
In fact,
it might not even be in the movie.
I was about to say, it might not even be in the movie, but you see, Leon, they gave me evidence to work with, and I took it, and I've gone over it, I've made deductions, and it's okay for me to like
don't ever join CSI, because you're just gonna be convicting the innocent people all day.
Are you kidding? What I just said is more realistic than whatever's on CSI. Come on,
You're
man.
in CSI doing that anyway.
Shit, Sherlock Holmes is more realistic than CSI. This steampunk shit right here is.
I tell you what though, during those slow motion scenes, whenever I see those bullets now, I don't know why, but I keep thinking, I wish to God somebody would actually put a little face on those bullets when they're coming by, so that you can hear them go, yeah,
like one passes by.
yeah.
I agree. That would be better. I say that the one thing that's holding me back from embracing this as like the next Sherlock Holmes is that like Moriarty, I kind of expected, I don't know.
You want to actor with more presence.
I want to actor with more presence, because this guy, I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. And we're like, okay, you named some things he was in.
I've seen him in a bunch of things. I mean, when they chose Jared Harris, I was like, oh, that's
as Moriarty.
Yeah, as Moriarty, because you expect somebody big,
higher profile,
an actor who's of a similar stature to Robert Downey Jr. But at the same time, you know what? I go like, you know what? At the time when Heath Ledger was cast as a Joker, I was like, what, that mumbly pretty boy? How is he gonna pull that off? All right,
showed you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
maybe it'll be great,
shut.
but my anticipation is lowered because it's not someone that I
Sure.
go, damn, Robert Downey Jr. versus this guy, it's going to be badass.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that they've taken, and that guy's a character actor who's been around for years.
Yeah.
Because everybody in this room was like, I've seen that guy, don't know his name.
I can't tell you what he's been in, but I know I've seen him in.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody remembers when the first Sherlock Holmes came out, everybody was spreading this rumor saying stay after the credits because they're going to show Brad Pitt as Moriarty.
Yeah, and we all stayed after the credits. And I remember I think it was Harry Knowles just went, what the fuck? Because it just shut off.
That's what you get for thinking you know too much.
I want to be out there going, dumbass.
Brad Pitt came out and did that.
I can't believe you believed that shit. Yeah, and I'm getting back together with Jennifer Aniston, too.
But I was hoping Steven Seagal would have been Moriarty.
Why do you got to keep trying to save Steven Seagal's career?
I know.
Yeah, he's a sheriff now.
But I was like, man, I don't want to see. What I was thinking was like, that'll be cool. And then, and people making that rumor because Brad Pitt did such a great job in Snatch, which is a Guy Ritchie movie, and it was like, I don't want to see Brad Pitt as Moriarty, man. Guys, I don't want to see an actor in a role like that who I see in everything. And we were beginning to see a lot of Brad Pitt, and I'm like,
They should have done, what they really should have done is they should have just ripped off Batman Begins and just had that scene where he's talking to, what's his buddy's name, Penfold?
Alfred?
No. Sherlock Holmes.
Watson?
Penfold.
What the hell, man?
I'm sorry, that's Danger Mouse.
You're thinking of a Danger Mouse instead.
I know you think about Danger Mouse, but I'm like, there's no kid on this site who's old enough to have seen Danger Mouse.
Me.
Confusing Watson with
But
Penfold.
they should have totally had like a playing card with M on it, and just to get the audience audience like pumped. I mean, they should have done something cool like that.
It was a piece of paper that said, "Call me Moriarty."
Well,
I shall look into it.
I thought there was
they did something like that.
Yeah, there was a
because
thing
I remember
at the
people
end.
made that comparison between the two movies.
They totally did do a thing at
Yeah.
the end mentioning Moriarty.
Yeah, they
saying,
did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Must have been in the bathroom.
You were busy. I think you were too busy watching Danger Mouse.
Too busy thinking about
Watching
putting,
Danger Mouse.
he's too busy thinking about putting little faces on inanimate objects in the whole movie. You know, when that barrel blown up, it should have been going.
But yeah, he was busy watching that bullet.
I'm still screaming. I was drawing.
I will say, man, I am looking forward to this because I love the first Sherlock Holmes so much, and I love the casting that they did in this and the way they built it up. Of course, we got what's his name, Penfold. What's his name?
Jude Law. You guys are broken. What's going on?
Jude Law. I thought it was great having Jude Law. I mean, we talk about going against type. You know, Jude Law. He was being cast a bunch of pretty boy roles, and see him as, the second tier straight man, stuffy straight man Watson in this. I thought that was great.
He's pretty funny on his own.
Oh, that's what makes him funny because he's playing the straight man.
He's a straight man to the point of being cheeky, and that works.
He's also not a bumbling idiot like Watson is sometimes portrayed,
Yeah,
like a guy who's always the foil to Holmes's intelligence. Because here he is really smart as well,
Yeah, exactly.
and super confident. And sometimes, he's the guy who gets the upper hand on Holmes on shit. It's like, yo, you've been steampunked.
I
He's the
absolutely
Thelma
love-
of the team.
Yes, he is.
I love that first movie. And wait, was it 2 years ago that it came out? Whenever it was, probably of all the movies that came out that year, it's probably the one I rewatched the most. The only thing I didn't like about it was Rachel McAdams, and I'm kind of nervous about her being back for the second
Well, okay,
one.
now this is funny because the leading lady in this is the girl who played in the original
The girl with the dragon
tattoo.
tattoo.
She was the girl.
Probably
with the dragon
saying it
tattoo.
wrong, but what, Numi Rapace?
I was going to say it wrong anyway, so I'll let you say it wrong.
She's
for me.
from, like, I don't know, Ice Green Stan. And I don't know.
exactly.
Icelandia.
But she's from Detroit. What?
And in the trailer, they show Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Noonie Rapafafuck, whatever. But they keep showing Rachel McAdams, but they never put a name on because it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this chick is back too.
That chick from the last movie.
Yeah, that chick you didn't like from this bitch is back too.
They should have just the whole time about to fire her.
Yeah.
And like, oh wow, she actually her scenes made it into the movie.
I like that she is back for consistency's sake.
Sure.
But I just hope that she's doing a better job than the first one. And I'm going to say that it's not her fault because, I mean, we've seen Rachel McAdams so much.
Oh, absolutely.
She gives a fine performance. Her ass gives a fine performance.
They need to
too.
just
Like,
period piece CG over her scene in that Harrison Ford movie she was in with her ass. You know the one I'm talking about?
Was that CG?
When we're all like, no, we're saying they need to for this. Just use that same scene and just put her in like old-timey clothes.
old-timey clothes.
I just want to see it again. Yeah. It was beautiful.
I was going to say, oh, she's a fucking robot. In the first 5 minutes, she tries to kill Sherlock Holmes. And they end up killing her ass off.
Acting-wise, she certainly was.
Yeah, I was about to say, you mean she wasn't a robot in the first one?
Yeah. It all makes sense now.
I didn't hate her in the first one, but she was the weak point.
No, she was the weak
It just
point.
seemed like she was just kind of barely there, where everybody else was giving their A game, and she was just sort of like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right. Well, to be fair, the script kind of had her in a position where we weren't really sure what she was doing there anyway.
She's the girl at the playground where all the boys are doing all the cool shit. She's just like, when do I get to play?
Yeah, it's
You
like,
don't, shut up.
they're like, she is a badass. When are we going to start seeing her be a badass? Just trust us. We should tell you that'll be enough.
But you could tell that this got a higher budget. I mean, at least it looks like that
Yeah.
from the trailer. I mean, they just blown up 50% more shit.
They make you really look at it because they put that shit on pause. We spent a lot of money on this.
Oh
set.
yeah, now they're blowing up way
I know.
more stuff than they did in the last movie.
Don't eat popcorn right now. You need to watch this scene. Spend a lot of money on this.
No, the budget is there. I mean, they're blowing up more stuff. There's more action scenes. There's more impressive slow motion. You know, that kind of slow motion costs money.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you just don't slow the camera down, over crank the camera. You know,
Time is money.
No, that's some CG Lucasfilm. I paid for this slow mo type shit, but that worries me to the extent of like, is this going to be another Iron Man 2? Where, you know, the first one was so great, the money showed in the trailer for the second one, and then you actually see the movie and it's like, wow.
Bigger isn't always better.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a big letdown because they just had too much to play with.
Well, I tell you, the thing is with this trailer, I mean, besides all the action that's going on, you still see a lot of those great exchanges of dialogue and the wit. That seems to all still be there.
Yeah.
So, and if it was, especially after watching the recent Three Musketeers movie, if this was somebody besides Guy Ritchie directing it, I would be nervous. I'd be like, "Fuck, this is gonna be terrible."
I wouldn't blame you.
But with him doing it again, he seems to have the formula down. So,
And I think he knows that. You know, he's like, nobody's gonna watch any of my other spin-offs of fucking
Right.
And he's right.
you know, of those gangster movies.
He is
anymore.
correct.
and they don't have Marvel Comics making them shove a Avengers movie inside of this.
Oh, and
Oh,
you,
yeah,
you
easily.
ain't got Madonna all on Guy Ritchie's ass this time
Exactly.
either. So yeah, you know, it has a lot going for it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this when it comes out on December 16th.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Although now we're gonna have to deal with comments until then. People going, "Man, y'all liked the last Sherlock Holmes movie? You guys are stupid." So I get that shit all the time. Like, fuck
Really?
you.
Just tell him to fuck.
Sherlock Holmes wasn't in slow motion. Yeah, but you clearly are.
Hey, why don't you go hang out with that Sherlock Holmes you've been fucking, all right, and leave me alone?
What?
Yeah, I had no idea what that
Okay, I was like, shit. Call detective in to figure that shit out. What you other mumbling about?
There's not enough
The
evidence.
Sherlock Holmes they love.